What's good with y'all young niggas? You already know the fuck going on. Back with another video. So today I got a special video for y'all. This is Pooh Shiesty's criminal history. We finna get to know him a little bit more. I don't listen to him. I heard he's the hottest thing going, but I'm gonna have to give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance. I might download his album and just listen to that shit. But let's get straight to this video.
Montrell Donnell Williams.
Hold on. This reaction ain't right. Without a load of cereal.
Jr., better known by his stage name Pooh Shiesty, is a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee. Even though he's only been making music since 2017, he's one of the hottest up-and-coming artists in hip-hop that's racked up millions of streams on tracks like 762 God and Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk. He signed the Gucci Mane's 1017 label in April 2020 and is in a good position to be one of the next big stars out of the South. However, like many promising young rappers, just as Pooh Shiesty's career was getting off the ground, he was arrested in connection with a shooting that could potentially put his career and freedom in jeopardy.
I think I heard that one.
The shielding took place in Bay Harbor, Florida, on October 13, 2020. No one was killed, but 2 victims sustained gunshot wounds. Pooh Shiesty and his associates were arrested and charged with armed robbery.
What I don't get is, when you're a rapper, you make it big, you finally make it big after you've been working so hard. Why the fuck would you go get you into some more trouble? But if I was a rapper and I made it, nigga, I'm out of here. You not catching me in no trouble.
Aggravated assault, battery, and criminal theft. The case is still ongoing, and the full story is yet to be revealed. But there is surveillance footage of the shooting that has been released to the public. Let's take a look back at Pooh Shiesty's criminal history and his career up to this point. Pooh Shiesty was born in Memphis, Tennessee on November 8, 1999. Compared to many rappers, he had a fairly stable childhood with both his parents in the picture. However, his father, Montrell Williams Sr., was a rapper who went by the name Mob Boss and was the founder of a Memphis-based record label called Mob Ties Records. Both Pooh Shiesty and his father grew up in South Memphis and were involved in the streets from an early age. In 2004, Montrell Sr. was charged as an accomplice in the murder of a radio DJ who was found dead in her apartment. He wasn't the one who committed the murder, but he was somehow involved. In an interview with Pooh Shiesty TV, the rapper claimed his father was always in his life, except when he was locked up.
What about your pops and shit? Was your pops around?
Yeah, most definitely. Pops been around from the start unless he was locked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only time he went around.
On the track Monday to Sunday, featuring Lil Baby and Big 30, Pooh Shiesty raps, "Miss Gladys raised a savage, that shit I shoot like my daddy," referencing his father's criminal past. The cover art for his track Day One also features a picture of the young rapper with his father dressed as old school Chicago gangster, machine guns and all that. Although the guns are probably just props and the outfit's just costumes, it shows the kind of father-son relationship they had. Fans and journalists have covered an old photo of Pooh Shiesty wearing an ankle monitor at only 11 years old. The rapper has been quiet about exactly photo of Pooh.
I didn't even know it. 11, bro, you wearing one of these?
Pooh Shiesty wearing an ankle monitor at only 11 years old. The rapper has been quiet about exactly what he was charged with at such a young age, but whatever it was enough to get him expelled from school and sent to an alternative school. At age 16, the rapper left Memphis and relocated with his mother to Pflugerville, Texas. But he returned to Memphis 2 years later, which is when he started rapping. He and his childhood friend Big 30 started releasing music in 2017, but it wasn't until he dropped his breakout hit, Shiesty Summer, that things started to heat up for Pooh Shiesty. His song At It Again was remixed by Moneybagg Yo in March 2020, and he caught the eye of Gucci Mane not long after. He signed 1017 Records in April 2020, and the two collaborated on the track Still Remember in June 2020. The duo reunited on Who Is Him for the 1017 compilation album So Icy Summer, which was released on July 3rd, 2020. He continued this impressive streak of hits by releasing the track Back in Blood with Lil Durk in November 2020, which became his most streamed song to date with just under 30 million plays on Spotify. But just a few weeks before this track dropped, Pooh Shiesty found himself in some serious legal trouble.
He blew up after
Video surveillance footage released by a Miami news station allegedly shows Pooh Shiesty involved in a shootout that occurred in broad daylight in a parking lot in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. The footage shows a green McLaren, a Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes enter the parking lot and pull over. A group of men gets out of each of the cars, and at first, things appear to be calm. But all of a sudden, guns are drawn and shots start going off. It's not entirely clear what set off the mayhem, but one man with a pistol and another with a Draco start firing shots. The camera clearly shows a man in a white t-shirt get shot in the ass and start limping away. He hides behind the vehicle and can be seen inspecting the wound, while the others hop back in the car and flee the scene. The footage is pretty clear because the camera is pointing right back at the crew, and the shooting happened in the middle of the
imagine getting shot in the
area.
ass. Imagine getting shot in the ass, bro. How the fuck you gonna sit down? You gonna sit down for like how long?
Tough to make out the identities of the men involved. Allegedly, Pooh Shiesty's in the agreement with McLaren, but it's not clear if he was one of the shooters or if it were other members of his crew. The incident has fans puzzled because at first, everything seems cool. But within seconds, it turns to gunfire.
The footage shows a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes pull into this east.
This nigga just said
a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and
this nigga just said Mercedes Maybach. Maybe that's how you say it. I don't know.
Another Mercedes pull into this East Bay Harbor Drive condo parking lot. Men from the vehicles eventually get out and meet, and then this. The man in the white shirt has a pistol. The man in the black sweatshirt has a longer gun, and at about the same time, they begin firing before retreating back to the Maybach. The fancy getaway cars speed off, and one of two victims then hobbles to the car.
Rumors are circulating that it's a drug deal or sneaker deal gone wrong. The victims drove themselves to urgent care in Miami after the shooting. One had to undergo surgery. However, they have both made a full recovery. One of the victims told...
Hold on, this is the best part.
Police that they were there to sell Shiesty a pair of Air Jordan 4s. The other victim said that they were there to sell them weed and get a payment for the McLaren, which supposedly Pooh Shiesty was renting from them. So off the bat, their stories didn't exactly add up. But one victim claimed that he was inside the vehicle and about to sell Pooh Shiesty weed when a group of other men hopped out of another vehicle with guns. The rapper told him to get out of the car, and as he was doing so, he was shot in the ass. The other victim says that he was walking to his car when the men showed up, and he was shot twice in the back. After the shooting, police found a Louis Vuitton bag with $30,000 cash left on the scene. Allegedly, this bag belonged to Pooh Shiesty. The cops used his own Instagram to trace the bag and the bills to the rapper. They were able to uncover an Instagram post where he was seen flexing with the bag and match the serial numbers to the bags and the cash.
We got all this money. Fuck you need to rob it, nigga, for, bro.
To the victims, the incident seems like Pooh Shiesty and his crew set him up to get robbed. But if that were the case, then why would he bring his own $30,000 cash and leave it at the scene? Plus, why would he have that much money if he was only buying Jordans and weed? Maybe if he was really renting a McLaren from them. But then why stage a robbery just to steal your own money back? Pooh Shiesty was released not long after on a $30,000 bond. Same amount of money that he left on the scene. Shiesty has hired one of the best attorneys currently working in hip-hop, a man named Bradford Cohen. Bradford Cohen is a lawyer who has defended high-profile artists like Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, and YNW Melly. Cohen was the one responsible for helping Kodak and Wayne beat their federal gun charges and even negotiated a pardon from former President Donald Trump back in January. Check out our videos on rappers pardoned for their crimes for more information on their gun cases. Kodak was so happy with the way Cohen handled his case that he got his name tattooed on his hand in appreciation. So Cohen is no stranger to helping high-profile rappers beat difficult cases. Cohen successfully argued that there are many holes in the victim's story. First, one of them claimed that they were there to sell some sneakers, while the other adamantly claimed that they were trying to sell the rapper drugs, which is tough to make either seem like a credible witness.
Weed is not a drug,
Second,
my nigga.
Pooh Shiesty is one of the hottest up-and-coming rappers in the country.
Weed is not a drug.
It seems unlikely that he would knowingly show up to a planned robbery in broad daylight, especially with $30,000 of his own money. Cohen argues that something occurred outside the vehicle that Shiesty had no involvement in, and he was simply caught in the middle. The judge must have agreed with him to some extent because he set the bond at a low rate. When a famous rapper is charged with a violent crime, the bond is usually 6 figures and beyond, especially if it's a shooting in broad daylight. But because there are so many holes in the victim's story, and it's still unclear whether Pooh Shiesty was one of the shooters or just happened to be in the car, he was let off with the bond he could easily pay. Although this case is far from a slam dunk, Shiesty does have a few things working in his favor. First, the shooting happened in Florida, a state that has more relaxed gun laws than most other states, including a stand your ground law. If Pooh Shiesty's team can prove that they fired in self-defense, it can easily beat the charge. That may be tough to prove because the victims don't appear to be armed, but if they can prove that the victims threatened them or otherwise contributed to the violence, it'll make it an easier case to beat. If the shooting had happened in a more heavily regulated state like New York or California, it'd be tough to explain why his team was casually strapped to the Draco. But in Florida,
they ain't taking that shit in ATL.
Second, neither victim sustained life-threatening injuries. If either one had been seriously injured or killed, it would be a tougher charge to beat. But given his clout and connections, Pooh Shiesty can likely plead down the charges to avoid jail time. Perhaps the biggest thing going for Pooh Shiesty is that the victim admitted that he was there to sell the rapper weed. When someone shoots an innocent bystander, the courts are much stricter on punishment. When it comes to street business that involves willing parties, they tend to be a bit more lenient because the victims put themselves in a risky situation and therefore aren't entirely innocent. It also makes it harder for the prosecutors to paint Pooh Shiesty and his crew as the aggressors when the victims were there to sell drugs in the first place. Fans have speculated several theories as to what may have gone down. Some say that the victims were planning on robbing Shiesty and his crew simply got the jump on him. Others have claimed that perhaps the victim said something disrespectful and tensions escalated into a shootout. There are still so many unknown variables in the situation that it's tough to know exactly what happened. This case is still ongoing and new details will continue to emerge.
Introducing career services for life. When they told me my work
Good thing
wasn't
it's
essential,
skippable.
walls didn't close around me with the...
Only time will tell whether this case will simply be a blip on the radar of a massively successful career for Pooh Shiesty, or if it'll destroy his career entirely and he'll fall off like many other artists do. Either way, the incident hasn't stopped the rapper's hustle. In February 2021, he released his debut mixtape, Shiesty Season, which featured guest verses from artists like 21 Savage and his label mate Fujiano. The case has put a black cloud over the future, but it hasn't stopped him from being one of the most popular artists in the game. Whether he beats the case and continues his meteoric rise, or lets it stop him in his tracks, is yet to be seen. If you like this video, check out some of our previous video.
Hey man, that's gonna cap it off. You already know the fuck on. If y'all like this video, y'all make sure y'all subscribe, y'all like it, and I'm out, bro.